So guys, it's official. Chelsea have officially unveiled Pedro Neto as a Chelsea player on the pitch at Stamford Bridge at their final pre-season friendly this afternoon, and Wolves have also obviously announced it as well. In this video, I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this. Kind of sad, understanding, but bit of a nebulous vibe going on with me this afternoon, especially off what Hobbs has had to say and Pedro Neto himself has had to say on his Instagram. So I'm going to give you what they've said and give you my thoughts at the end. Pedro Neto, this is what he's had to say on his Instagram. He said, "Hey Wolves family, this is a tough one for me. After 5 years, incredible moments, highs and lows, and everything between, it's time for me to say goodbye. I remember the first time I put on the old gold shirt, I was so proud. And from that moment, you'll welcome me as one of your own. You believed in me, you lifted me up, and together we created memories that'll carry me forever. It wasn't just about the goals or the victories, it was about the connection that we built, the love and the passion that runs through this club and this city. You made me feel like I belonged. And that's something I'll never forget. Leaving isn't easy, but I know that this isn't the end. It's just a new chapter. I'll always carry Wolves in my heart, and I'll always be grateful for every single one of you who cheered me on, who believed in me, who made me feel at home. Thank you, Wolves family, for everything. I'll miss you, but I know our paths will cross again. Until then, I'll be cheering you on from wherever I am. Once a Wolf, always a Wolf." And I'll tell you what, give me a little tear in my eye. That is, it's so kind of emotional that obviously, you know, he had that connection with the club. Yeah, it's kind of one of them, isn't it, really? I think we're all really sad to see Pedro Neto go. He was a really, really great guy. You know, I had the pleasure of interviewing him outside, that's very briefly, catching him for a little few words outside of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last year, and met him as well at the Foundation Gala dinner. Absolutely top bloke, really down to earth, incredibly polite, really humble and incredibly talented. Blighted by injuries, of course, and you know, I wish we'd have got more game time. Maybe if he hadn't been injured as much as he was, he might have left a little bit early, but would have loved to have seen him again this year. But it's £54 million, that's a lot of money. And Gary O'Neill and Matt Hobbs have been talking about that, and we're going to come on to that next, but this is what Matt Hobbs has had to say. Matt Hobbs has said it's hard for him to talk about because he's really close to Pedro. He's such a good person to have around the training ground. Everyone knows the player he is as a world-class winger. Has been so unlucky with injuries, so we'll miss him on the pitch obviously, but also around the training ground with his energy and the relationship he had with so many people. He said it was hard for us. I think it was probably harder for Pedro. Tears all morning at the changing ground. I don't think Pedro wanted to leave Wolverhampton Wanderers, and I've spoken to him since, and he'll always love the club, but it felt like an opportunity for him that he couldn't turn down, and a deal for us we couldn't turn down. For the club, it's the right deal at the right time. It's hard when it's someone he has so much affinity for as a person to look at as a business, but football is a business, and it was the right thing and the right deal. So from that perspective, the football club are happy. Whilst it happened quickly, it was widely known there was interest, and we tried to construct something previously, so that it was nothing new to us. He goes on to say on replacing Pedro Neto, we've been working on options and targets, and that work keeps going, but we do that work for every position in the team like this. You never know when an offer comes in for the football club you can't down. The work's underway for me and Gary. I've sat down several times since, but we're sitting down beforehand and talking about it because I thought there was a chance this would happen this summer. It's safe to say the next couple of weeks we've all been working tirelessly to make sure we get to the end of window. We're all happy with the squad we've got, and it's well balanced as we can possibly make, and it will give support for the players who've been brilliant in pre-season and the tools Gary and his staff need. And Gary O'Neill himself has said we're not going to sign another Pedro Neto. It's about using the money well enough to replenish the squad in a few areas, a wide player being one. So that suggests, and it's stated, because a lot of people obviously would be worried that, yeah, we've got the money, nothing else is going to happen, we won't spend any money, we're not going to bring players in. I think Wolves are in a very strong position in the transfer market now after the sale of Max Kilman, 40 million, massive profit on him. Pedro Neto, massive profit on him. Wolves do not need to sell anyone else. I would not be happy if they sold another major player. I think there'll still be some that will go out. but Wolves are in a strong position to be able to invest in 3 or 4 areas, and if they do that, and we end up with a much stronger squad in depth and a much more balanced squad because of what they've done, then we'll be in a good position. You know, as for Pedro Neto, obviously he's got the chance of going to Chelsea. There's a huge expectation on Chelsea and their owners. They've spent a lot of money. They've got a lot of players there, you know, a lot of players. They've got so many players. They have more players than Nottingham Forest, really. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for him. If he stays fully fit, he's a starter in any team for me. To me, Pedro Neto, fully fit, is world class. I just think he's almost unplayable, but that's the key question. So £54 million for a player that's, in the 5 years he's been at Wolves, has only played 40% of his available games is, you know, on the whole a good deal. But we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him around the place, around Molineux. We're going to miss him on the pitch, getting us off our seats. Traore used to do that to a point. Maybe not with such end product, where Pedro Neto had end product, and that's why, to me, he's world class, and he's got the football world at his feet if he stays fit. We'll obviously see that. And interestingly enough, Wolves' first game of the season at Molineux is against Chelsea. The one thing that I am definitely guaranteed is that Pedro Neto comes on the pitch against Wolves for Chelsea, he will get a round of applause from every single side. He will get the love from Molineux, and every time he returns, because of what he's done. Unlike Mateus Nunes, that got absolutely booed every time he kicked the ball for Man City, it won't be the same with Pedro Neto. He's always given his all for Wolves, and you know, we thank him for everything that he's given us. We wish he'd have been fit a lot more, but it's football. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. But yeah, real top lad, down to earth, humble, super talented. We're going to miss him, but that's football. You move on. And as he said in his post, once a Wolf, always the Wolf. Or as I say, always Wolves.